Well, hi everybody, old Seldom here. You noticed I've been posting some older videos that I had unlisted and really, didn't think I wanted to put them up on videos. I didn't think they were worth a lot, except the one video where I show the difference between my disco and my and the walkthrough. That was an important video to help people. And back in the day when I made that, I was still trapping, and I don't give out, I don't train the competition, in other words. That's been a belief of mine since the 70s, and that'll get you in trouble. Well, I'm not trapping coyote anymore, and lo and behold, I found this video that I made, I think, in 2015 to an acquaintance, a friend. Nate's his name. Can't tell you his last name. Don't know anything else about him except we'd conversed. And he had asked me a whole bunch of questions. And he didn't live anywhere near me, or he didn't even live in Michigan, I don't believe. No, I don't think he did. Well, anyway, there were so many questions that he had asked me through email that I made a video. And in this video, for the first time, you'll see I name names. Not all names, but all names that of lure manufacturers' products that were pertinent to answering Nate's questions, because I've always been the person, I will answer any question you ask me to the best of my ability at the time. Now, this was, you'll notice that I mentioned sets. I don't mention the disco, and there's a reason for that. I did not want to give out my set to everybody and their brother who's trapping on the properties, on either side of me. So there's an intersection over here, and the kids like to crank it up a little bit because of the echo off the brick walls. Well, anyway, so I'm answering a question, or all these questions, to this one individual. Also at that time, I did not mention a bait, Helseth bait, Horse Whisperer 2 plus 2, made by Chadesh, and you all know him on Trapper Man. That was not mentioned in this video. That bait and Coyote Creek were the best of the best, and remained so. So now listen, I did this in 2015, so this is 2023, and I started using it before that. You figure it out. And I also make some statements in here about longevity of using lures and combinations, and how a lure or a bait stayed at the top of the list year after year. And I'm trapping the same properties. Understand this. I'm trapping the same properties I did in 1998. All right? I'm not going 100 miles. No. I trap in a small area purposely, because I like to be home with my wife for lunch. Figure it out. So, nevertheless, my opinions are more than just opinions. They're on facts. And I mention this in these videos too. And so I work hard at quantifying my catch results and the performance of the scents, the lures and baits I use. So, anyway, this is an interesting video. It's an old video. Like I said, I think it was 2015 I made this video. So anyway, there'll be controversy probably. Somebody's going to get pissed off. Somebody will be happy. I could give a crap less. It's me. And so it's what And I can support everything I say, I can support by video or documented evidence. So, at that time of 2015, that is where everything stood at that time. So, I'll shut this off and I'll get it cut into the old video for you all. And I hope you enjoy it. Hope you learn something by it, really. But it does say, I'm telling you, test your own lures and baits in your own trapping territory. And that's very, you'll get it from my video. So anyway, this is a first, and it's the only video I made like this. So this is the only one you're gonna see, and I no longer trapping coyotes. So anyway, folks, I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you later. Hi, Nate. Mike Fails, Seldom here. You are exactly right. that WM does stand for Widowmaker. I originally tested Widowmaker back in about 2004 or 5, and it tested like crazy. I mean, there was digging and rolling and coyote shit everywhere. And since that time, of course, that's what they have to do with lures and baits to get on the line. And ever since that time, his Widowmaker has performed at the very top over everything. And I used 2 baits. I used one starting the 1st of November until the middle of November, and that's when I used the Widowmaker, or did use the Widowmaker. And then starting the 1st of December, when it's cold here, and I'm in mid-Michigan, in Midland, just in from Saginaw Bay, about 25 miles or so. And then I go to a stronger bait, something a lot louder. And I'll tell you, the top one for late season work is O'Gorman's Coyote Creek. It flat out spanks everything. I mean, it's just phenomenal. Now, over the years, and you're right, I do test lots of them. Last year I tested Tom Baudette's and Graham's. Nothing to speak of. The Rich's bait, you know, the one that Went uses, except Went, of course, they double up on the glands. Rich's baits and Jameson's coyotes walk right over it. It's nothing. I have probably one of the better ones is Steph Forgay's Champion. That's a darn good bait, I think, and it is tested real well, and it's worked on the line. But remember, they got to beat the top runner, and so far, none of these other baits that I've tested all these years have pushed out Junes. Not Powder River, none of them. And now I will say this, close to it, of all things, is Dobbin's baits. Dobbin's got a bobcat medley and a beaver medley, and those both tested pretty darn good. On the line, still couldn't beat it. Now, this is true up until season before last, which would be this 2014, which was a real short season for me, only 2 weeks. And I had been testing a homemade bacon bait that Tracy Truman has. Lazarus is his forum name over on the Dobbin on T-Man site. And I used his basic recipe and added some things to it, and I gotta tell you, flat out, kicked ass. It's a milder bait, but it pushed Widowmaker right off the map. I used it those 2 weeks. And then we had the death in the family, and I got extremely busy the rest of the season, had to quit trapping. But property owners going out to my sets right afterwards, and right after I pulled, and calling me up and say, hey, it's too bad your traps aren't in. Friggin' coyotes have just dug the devil right out of all of your sets on my property. Well, those sets all had the bacon bait in them. Never had that happen quite like that with Widowmaker. Had digging, of course, after season, but nothing to the extent as my property owners are telling me about my homemade bacon bait. So, last year, this last season, 2015, I never used, I don't believe I used it, any of Mark June's at all. I started out with my bacon bait, and right off the bat, you know, I got a triple. Right overnight, I got to get, and it is that bacon bait. I'm a firm believer in it. Now let's talk about why apparently you didn't have success with Widowmaker and I did. Well, I'll tell you the one thing I have found: region makes a huge difference. Wile E. Coyote down there in LaGrange, Indiana, a friend of mine. There's some baits and lures that work great for him. Worthless up here. Absolutely worthless. And I found this to be true. I have no doubt. Powder River is a great bait, and Jameson's Matrix or whatever that was, and all of these, Baudette's, they all are good baits in some area, some part of this country. Not here. Period. I don't give a rat's butt what people say. I tested some lures last year brought up from down by the state line by a guy in Michigan who's a good friend of Mike, what is it, Mercedes or whatever, and worthless. Absolutely worthless. And here it's his mainstay, and he's I think this year he got, what did he tell me? 70 coyotes? I don't know. It doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make a bit of difference. What are the lures? You'll see PC in there. That's Pro's Choice. Nothing has been able to push Pro's Choice out of first place. And I do that, of course, figure out my ratios after season, and it's a catch per use thing. And if I'm looking at lures and bait combos and I use, mostly walkthroughs. Last year I used more deep step down dirt holes. So, but I go by combos, and I will, listen, Pro's Choice has just been crazy for me all of these years, and it remains right at the top. And jeepers creepers, I've tried a ton of them. So anyway, that's about it. O'Gorman's Powder River was no better than much of anything. It tested pretty good, but on the line, it couldn't stand up to Mark June's Widowmaker, nor could it stand up to the Coyote Creek he makes. So people are trying to get me to do some testing of Wisers, and Haysefs, Haseth, Haysefs. Both of them are from out west, and I don't really know if I need to test anything else, but it is addictive. I enjoy testing lures and baits. Now, my walkthrough set, 2 1-inch holes augered in. And I use a bait in the upwind hole, and I use a call or some lure in the downwind hole. That's my go-to set. But I've been trying to find something for the deep dirt holes too. And of course the bacon bait, I throw a gob down there, probably maybe not a half a cup, but pretty close. I throw a good gobbler down there. And that's an 18-inch hole, whatever Rich's 3-inch auger will take me. And I got to tell you something, those friggin' coyotes will dig till they can reach it. And that's a hang of a hole on that bacon bait. But they'll do the same thing with that Coyote Creek. Man, I tell you, that's somebody's going to be hard-pressed to come up with one that for a late season, that's a real rank, strong one than Coyote Creek. But anyway, yeah, that's don't be dissuaded by just because I got good ones and I found bad ones, because it can be just the opposite somewhere else in the country. Has to be. People are buying this stuff and using it, and but no, not for me. Period. And I do pretty simple. My test is just a simple 1-inch hole, 8 inches deep, and I put a with lure I put about a half a teaspoon, and with bait I put about a tablespoon. And by God, if they don't dig her, I don't even allow scratching. If it's just scratches, that bait ain't worth crap. They got to dig to the bottom to get her for my test. And it's got to be replicated then on the line. And some of them can't do that. Some, you just don't get the extra interest, that the desire to dig. You don't want them digging in your set. You want them to have the desire. You want to slap them alongside the head, and that's what I'm looking for. And I will tell you that if you look up that bacon bait, I can tell you what I do. I add mink glands, and I add Steph Forgay's Champion bait to it, and I make a bunch of it. I cook down about 5 pounds of bacon and real lard, not the stuff you buy in the store. And so you can smell, and I burn it, more or less, scorch it, and you can smell that. Oh, Jesus, I got to tell you, they go crazy on it, and I don't care what time of the year. So anyway, Nate, hey, listen, have you had any more questions? Super. I'm glad you looked at my post close enough, because sometimes I wonder if people don't take me very serious, and that's okay. But I'm glad a few do, just like you, and I'm glad you enjoy those GoPro videos. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I sent this to you, rather than do all the damn typing. So anyway, super. I'll get this put up on the YouTube and send you the link, and thank you for asking the questions and letting me explain some of the things. But there's a lot of baits and a lot of lures that a lot of people use with great success. But I got to tell you, it's really important, I think, to test before you use them some of the scents that you want to use on the line, because everybody seems to have a little different in the area. Oh, I'll tell you, a good one. And this goes back to Carmen's Pro's Choice, but the mate to it, his canine call. Everybody, the canine call. You know what? That canine call is just an iffy thing up here. But you go down by LaGrange, holy crap. I mean, it's hot. And year after year, not up here. No. Whereas it's reversed with the Pro's Choice down there. Those guys tell me it's nothing but a friggin' possum catcher. Coyotes don't want nothing to do with it. I find that extremely interesting. But it's happened so often over the last, say, 10 years of corresponding with people off the internet and stuff, that I believe it's absolute fact. It's different in different parts of this country. And I don't know, humidity, soil acidity, or what it is. But by God, there's a difference when it's bait and lure. It makes a hang of a difference. So, anyway, that's it, Nate. I'll get this baby put together on the long side, but I'd rather do that than do all the writing that would be there. Hey, thanks, Nate. Talk to you later.